What's going on, everybody? My name is Torian Easton, and this is my oral presentation for the online film analysis class. I will be coming to you today to present a particular film and its effect on me and its effect on the audience through its sound. First and foremost, it's a pretty unfortunate situation for me. Probably get a couple points deducted. However, no other adults were present during this whole entire week. My mom went to a fishing trip in Pensacola, and my sister works all day long. So, who I do have here today is my wonderful, beautiful daughter, Allison. Yeah, she's been a good daughter and taking away time to assist her dad in this project, you know. But the movie I want to talk to you about is Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises is the third installment of the Dark Knight trilogy. Of course, Batman, the coolest superhero, in my opinion, in DC Comics. He doesn't need much. All he needs is intellect, all he needs is his body, and he can pretty much get things done that way. But the reason why I like this so much, wait, pause. Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero is Wonder Woman.
Figures. But anyway, sound in Dark Knight Rises was something that intrigued a lot of people away from all the greatness that it had with everything else and the other aspects of the film. It was a wonderful film. You had best acting anyone has seen is probably in a lot of superhero movies. Character development, the villains. Oh my God, the villains. You know how you get some villains that have the same mindset. Come conquer the world, take over. That's their only objective. However, in the Dark Knight trilogy, all villains had content. You know what I'm saying? They all had reasoning and an objective that was solidified. And they all played their part without having the presence of superpowers or toxic chemicals to make them the way they are. They're just the way they are because something drove them to be that way. It was realistic. This Dark Knight trilogy was probably the most realistic superhero series that I've ever come to contact with in my 24 and a half years of living. So we're gonna continue to talk about how sound played a big part in that.
You fight like a younger man. There's nothing held back. It's admirable, but mistaken. Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding. The shadows betray you because they belong to me.
In the scene you just saw, it was Bruce Wayne basically being trapped, set up to basically go to his doom. You know what I'm saying? Usually in particular scenes of suspense and maybe even hope, there is scores, there is sound. There isn't much in this scene. There isn't none in this scene, matter of fact, because for Bruce Wayne, there was no hope. Being a superhero, you see a lot of upcomings, and you see a lot of that was crazy. You see a lot of sounds that will enforce that a positive outcome may come. There was no sound at all in this whole particular scene. Well, music. There was no music at all. There was no scores at all. It was nothing but punches and contact with Bane and Batman because they were fighting. However, let's go a little deeper, and you heard sounds over speeches. You heard the synchronizer sound because Bane and Batman both had dialogue. However, the whole time you hear a constant waterfall, like a constant water falling from the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of went well with the sound, with the scene, because Bane's and Bruce Wayne's dialogue was so, you know what I'm saying, narrowed in on that you heard every word. You know, the waterfall, the constant waterfall in the back had no effect on what you heard. The majority of the time you see film, you see storylines that need music. But in the case of The Dark Knight Rises, the majority of the scenes, basically all the scenes like that, when it comes to dialogue that had no sequence, that this scene was a killer scene because you had to hear something within the scene. Bruce Wayne had no hope. There was no hope of him coming out on top in this particular scene. And because of that, there was no sound. There was no sound to come think that the day was gonna be saved, or he was gonna have a positive outcome on whatever it was that he was doing. I mean, you saw he got pummeled, you know? There was even the certain dialogue where he alluded to and said, so you think darkness is your ally. You merely adopted the light I was born in, you know? And people feel like, in some cases, scores and sounds should be present when it comes to suspense. That was a whole fight on the scene, and you didn't hear nothing. Not a peep, not a crowd cheering, not a mumble from the spectators who were Bane's men. Nothing. You heard nothing but punches being exchanged and contact happening. And when you look at Bruce Wayne's demeanor, it comes from the beginning where he calls Bane. He says Bane. Bane is the first thing he says, because in his mind he's thinking, like he told Alfred in the beginning of the movie, you know, when I come in contact with him, I'm gonna fight harder. I always have. That was the first word you heard him say and the last word you heard him say, until he was basically almost defeated. And when he alluded to Bane as, you were excommunicated by a gang of psychopaths being the League of Shadows. The whole time, Bane's sound, Bane's presence, you hear the constant hard breathing, because they wanted to let you know that this is something that is not present without Bane. Bane is not present without the Bane sound of going through his mouth and breathing. They wanted to let you know that his presence was overwhelming in that film. That was his scene. You know what I'm saying? That was his rise and Batman's fall.
So you came back to die with your city?
No. I came back to stop you.
Okay? You guys, you go knock on doors and spread the word, okay? The bomb is gonna go off. Get out by the South Street Tunnel or over the bridge. You go, you do 2 blocks, you get back to the bus, all right? Go, go, go.
Is he back?
Keep your eyes open, go.
The scene I just showed you all was the uprising of Batman, The Dark Knight. after he's been from millions of places, after he's been from millions of downfalls, and now he's found himself in a position where it's time for him to rise. As you saw, that was one of the many scenes with a score and a background music and sound. What you saw was a sequence. See, the thing about Dark Knight Rises, the only time that they're truly scored is when they're a sequence. You know, multiple scenes, multiple shots that have to be shown in order to continue on with the film and what's going on. The most interesting part about that last film that it was multiple different things going on at once, making it, in my opinion, the greatest final 20, 30 minutes of a film I've ever seen. You had Lucius Fox trying to root them to connect the bomb back to the core. You had Batman fighting back. You had Blake telling anybody else in the city to get to the bridge because it's gonna blow. You had Talia Al Ghul, who was later announced Talia Al Ghul watching over the fight. It was all scored because it was all action, it was all pat, it was something that it was also, like I said in the last scene, like a refuge to show you that, you know what I'm saying, this is when you get into it, this is when you get started, this is where you don't know what's gonna happen next, where it might be hope, where it may be no hope, it may be destruction, it may be glorification, you never know. And that was one of the greatest things about Dark Knight Rises. When it did have scores, you never knew what was gonna happen, and it was things that was gonna excite you regardless. So, in synopsis, the scores and the sounds of Dark Knight Rises may vary from many to none, but at the same time, everything that you heard was vital. Say bye, Allison.
Bye.